Didn't you have like Duluth last?
We're live, fellas.
Duluth was like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
You pissed off a lot of people from Duluth.
I saw that in the comments.
Well, folks, joined by recurring special guest here, 10K TV, Blake Cashman, linebacker for the Vikings. You're back now. The first time you came here a year ago, you had not played your first season yet. Now you're a season in. How'd the first one go?
Went incredible. Obviously, it sucked the way we finished. Nobody wants that outcome, but to win as many games and have the success that we did, and to share the camaraderie and the fun with everybody in that building was something that made the year so special.
Yeah, the defense was fucking awesome this year.
Awesome, dude.
We had so much fun. You guys were all killers, top to bottom. I mean, never felt more confident, playing any quarterback or any team than when you guys would walk out there.
And y'all just like had fun too. That's the thing. Like that's what I mean. Obviously, like Cam Bynum, I know he's off to the Colts, but him, Metellus, from what we gather, were kind of the leading of the turnover, the dance routines
dances,
and all that, and like it gave a lot of fun and levity to it. And like one's like two where you're like, I feel like as a player, I don't know, you're obviously looking for a turnover, but that's had to be in the back of your mind. Like we gotta pull this off. We gotta show the moves like we've been practicing all week.
Those were all planned, like either during the week or sometimes we'd be in the hotel the night before games.
Sure.
And we'd meet as a defense quickly for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, we would, do whatever choreography that Beasy or Metellus had for us.
Yeah.
And right there in the meeting room in the hotel.
That's so sick. You gotta have the plays and then the choreography in your other side of your brain. So you gotta keep them straight. But.
Now, from a celebration perspective, we did mention we lost Cam Bynum. Are you confident in Josh Metellus' leadership stepping in now? He's the new guy, right? Who's going to be organizing? Are you confident, or do you think?
No question about it. He's going to be on top of it, and we actually, believe it or not, get some help from our coaches. They come across funny videos and dances on social media.
Not Flores.
No, it's more of the assistants.
Okay. I was gonna say if it was Flores doing this, I'd be shocked.
The special teams coaches are actually heavily involved.
Love it.
So they'll post videos and kind of use that as a little bit of encouragement for us to use whatever dance or celebration that's in the video.
Sweet. That's sick.
We'll be your eyes and ears too of the internet, and we'll pass any ideas that come
seriously,
our way.
if you guys have any great
you can throw
ideas,
it up. Yeah, you can throw it up the chain.
Yeah,
I will.
Yeah,
get on TikTok, see the trends. See what's going on, do some research. I'll even get the wife involved. I know. She'll go on TikTok. She's like, all right, she's on not much social media, but she's got TikTok, and it's like she's there, and she just basically just watches.
She has her pulse on what the kids are doing, what the people are doing.
She knows.
What was your favorite one to do, from your own personal perspective?
I wouldn't say I was very involved because it was just a 2-person duet, but I guess the dance from White Girls.
Oh yeah.
That was just fun to spectate and be a part of the crowd, forming around the dance in the end zone. That was great.
They killed it too. I mean, it was so perfect. Like I even think I saw later on Twitter or Instagram or whatever, they put the side, they split it, they splice it together with the actual scene in White Chicks, and it was just all right, they absolutely just killed that routine. It was so good. So
word
good.
When that video surfaced, I'm like, are people gonna think we're practicing our plays over here? Are we practicing dancing at practice?
Yeah. Both are important vibes.
They are.
I mean, as long as you back it up on the field, though, it's who gives a shit? Because I did see, one of my, on 10K TV here, I have a good buddy of mine from college. He's a Packer fan, unfortunately, but I'm a lifelong Vikings fan, so that's always the, button heads. And so we have a little show or an episode each week on that, and he very much was, I know very much, are you guys really, actually caring about defense? You guys seem to fall off, too much dancing over there, and it's I don't know, man. They're still pretty damn good. Fifth, I think, least points allowed in the league, so still pretty good.
I think so.
I think you guys backed it up.
Yeah, pretty much.
Also, God forbid you have fun, right? I mean, now there was the one guy from the Bears who was celebrating a little too early against the Commanders.
Oh, yeah.
Tyreek Stevenson.
That one was, that's maybe we're dancing and celebrating cross.
Mid-play is a little rough.
Mid-play.
Unfortunately, I think he had a few bad moments that year that kind of.
What was the? There was another one.
He's had numerous.
There was a second thing that happened.
I think
was
it was
against the Vikings. He was doing the Skull chant after.
Yes, he did, and I know I think there was one game too where they had a big stop, critical stop that the defense needed at the end of the game, and he got like an unsportsmanlike taunting the guy's face or something like that, and I think that it moved the ball and it allowed them to get a new set of downs to go win the game.
If you're talking Mount Rushmore of those situations, it was Chase Claypool. Was that against the Vikings?
Yeah.
When he started, with 7 seconds left, clock is running, gets a first down, gets on his knee and does this and eats up 4 seconds.
And honestly, like low key, Eric Kendricks, if I remember correctly, like they actually were like trying to pick up the ball.
Yeah.
He like inadvertently knocked the ball out of the guy trying to run into the center's hands and like took up another couple seconds. Yeah. And it was just like, oh, there's a little savvy vet move there. Like, all right, you're not laying on someone like I don't know. It was someone on the Colts when we had the massive comeback against them a couple years ago, where they like just laid on Jefferson, which like put us in like field goal range or whatever. But you got to. There's little like tips and tricks I feel like to kind of milk some time. I have to imagine that you
just get up a little bit
slower. Keep it natural.
Yeah, I mean, you cramping up a little bit. End of the game, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like in basketball, you got to sell it, right?
Yeah.
SGA. He's pretty good at that.
Acting comes into all sports.
Some a little worse than others. We're SGA. That is not a name or initials we like to say in my household. So
no,
it's tough. It's been a tough finals watch. It's been a hate watch in the finals, but not great for basketball. Blake, if I remember correctly, we went to high school together. We said off air. I'm 2 years older than you.
Blake bullied Adam. Blake bullied we learned
me. For the sophomore, I was a senior.
He stole his lunch money.
If you're not watching this live and you're only listening, so Blake and I both went to Eden Prairie. We both went to the University of Minnesota. We both like the Vikings.
Oh,
like the Vikings.
I forgot you didn't.
We're both in equally great physical shape and athletic ability.
Yeah.
Don't look at the video. Don't at all. You played DB in high school, so you obviously switched to linebacker in college. What kind of triggered that switch, and like how was that kind of adjustment period?
Well, that would have been Jerry Kill's call.
Okay.
So I was recruited as a safety.
Yep.
And probably say halfway through fall camp, training camp, I'm just on the sideline drinking my water, watching practice, and he waddles over to me and he's like, "Son, I'm gonna make you a linebacker." And so I was only playing special teams my freshman year. After the season ended, spring ball came around, and I was in the linebacker room.
Okay.
Damn.
Never looked back.
Never looked back.
Never looked back.
So Jerry was right.
Yeah,
he had something.
He was.
Because you also played, you were recruited by Jerry. You played under Tracy Clays for that 1 year, and then obviously PJ, you had your last 2 years. Mm-hmm. How going through those changes in like a coaching staff as like a player, obviously as like fans, like we see it all the time with our teams and like, new schemes, new adjustments and all that. But being as a player, kind of how does that look for you? Like, I'm sure there's obviously meetings like, all right, here, everyone, like now the transfer portal is so big, but like back then it wasn't, like NIL wasn't as like a thing back then. So how was that kind of going through multiple coaching changes, and how do you like stay like focused and like keeping your role that you're trying to like carve out on the team? Because you obviously have to like prove yourself.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. I mean, most of the time it's not fun going through coaching changes. Right. Obviously, it can be very beneficial for some players if, maybe they're not seeing the opportunity they deserve. But in a way, it prepared me for the National Football League. I mean, this is the second time in now 7 years that I've had any carryover from the previous year, whether that be coaches or scheme.
Yeah.
But the transition from Jerry Kill to Trace Clays, I mean, we retained most of the staff. It was basically the same scheme. So that wasn't too challenging. But when Fleck came in, it was a major culture shift.
Yep.
Obviously, you know, when a new head coach comes in, a lot of times he brings his people, his players. So there's a lot of turnover. And
Tanner Morgan.
Yeah,
exactly.
True.
Yeah. And so that just can be challenging sometimes and takes a lot of patience. Especially, you know, at the time I was going in my junior year, so I was considered an upperclassman.
Yeah.
So there was definitely frustrations, but in the end, I think it all worked out. And I think Fleck is a great guy for the program. He's obviously done a good job there.
Yeah, I mean, like the defense really started coming to its own. Like when he obviously came in, it took a little bit, but like obviously the Gophers have had a very, very good and like respected defense. I feel like, especially in the Big Ten, and not only like just in the country in general. But I feel like you were kind of part of that team that started putting it in that direction. Like there was someone that obviously like played with a lot of like grit and intensity too. Like, you know, you're the hometown, you know, from Eden Prairie. So like, obviously as like Minnesotans, we're proud Minnesotans. So like, we love that. And the fact that now you're on the Vikings is just, remember seeing, you know, you getting signed is just fantastic. Like I got to imagine like if you growing up as a Vikings fan, how does that, like, I don't know, is it corny to say like a dream come true? Like if you were growing up as a Viking, like I don't know, like if you're like a kid,
I
like
think
love
he grew
football.
up a Packer fan.
I knew that was
I think
coming.
you grew up a Packer fan. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh,
What?
Adam. Yeah.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah.
Yikes.
We talked about this, I think, the first
Yeah,
time.
I've been going back and forth in my head for the last 10 minutes internally. I'm like, is it him who said it? I'm going to feel really dumb if I'm wrong. But yeah.
See, I wasn't here for that, so I'm okay.
Yeah.
You know,
well,
I'm
yeah.
all right.
Yeah, you didn't.
But that. Sorry, Blake. That changes things for me a little bit.
I did grow up a Packers fan, but
Is it family? Is it family, or was it just because you?
no, my family, I was a traitor.
Oh,
Everyone
God.
was diehard Vikings.
Lie to me. You gotta lie to me.
Well, no.
then.
So
yeah.
what happened is when I started following football, Brett Favre, you know, was my favorite player. He was, I think, no matter if you're a Packer fan or not, was a fun player to watch.
Sure,
And
gunslinger.
So as I started watching Brett Favre, I just naturally started cheering for the Packers, and that loyalty stuck with me until 2019 when I started preparing for the NFL, and then I honestly, from that point on, did not care about Green Bay and any success they had. Where, you know, take me back to when they lost the Super Bowl against, or not the Super Bowl, but the NFC Championship game against the New York Giants.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was 4th, 5th grade.
Yeah, devastating.
Crying.
Yeah,
I was crying.
Yeah.
I cried in '98.
I was so upset, but you know, even if Green Bay would have, during my free agency, came to the table like with a serious offer,
Yeah,
I still would have picked Minnesota.
yeah.
It's from the outside, not knowing anything about the Vikings, like it's just, I think, better for my brand.
Yeah.
And it's good for me and my story. And I think it's really cool to be the hometown kid playing for your hometown team. That's very
100%.
unique, and a lot of guys don't get to do that.
Yeah.
But knowing what I know now about the Minnesota Vikings, their culture, the leadership, just how awesome everybody is in the building, how close people are.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the best decision I could have made.
When you get to play for Brian Flores, I mean, that's got to be just an experience in itself. Like, just the amount of knowledge and, you know, the stages that he's been on, and like the amount of players that he's been around, and obviously, like, you know, the mind that he has. Like, it's, how does he compare to, obviously you've had a lot of defensive coaches, so like, how does that kind of, how have those prepared you? How is he different? Like, what separates Brian Flores, if there is, you know?
Well, the biggest thing would be his scheme.
Yeah.
It's unlike any I've ever been a part of.
Yeah.
And I won't say it's challenging to learn, but understanding how it works, because like on paper, you're like, this doesn't work. There's holes all over our coverage. There's gaps not accounted for in the run game. But with all the disguises, the pressures, the games, the stunts we do, like it takes care of all that. And we call it organized chaos.
Yeah.
This is what it is.
Hell yeah.
And once you see it come to life, you're like, it's like eye-opening. You're like, wow, this really works. And it's a very fun scheme to play in because it gives every position opportunities to make plays. Mm-hmm. Now, on the other side of it, who he is as a coach, I mean, he's one of the best coaches I've played for. Just how he treats his players. He is a big believer in just playing with joy and celebrating with your teammates, celebrating with your coaches, and having a strong fellowship. I mean, that's why in the off season, sometimes we aren't even like meeting or out on the field walking through plays. Like we go bowling as a defense because he believes and understands that to have a championship worthy team, it starts with unique relationships.
Yeah, you gotta have chemistry.
Look at the Florida Panthers that just won the Cup. Like those guys are all best friends, and it matters.
Back to back.
Back to the Packers Vikings thing. While I was in the elevator to get you, I saw Madden 26 announce that you can now. There's this thing called the Gold Package, where like it simulates away fans being at home games too, like based on attendance numbers. This is a screenshot from Lambeau. Look at all the purple in the crowd.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
Well, that's one
I love
of the
it.
best things about Vikings fans. Is they travel well.
Oh, my God, dude. I went to the game in Nashville. Okay. Probably lost a couple years on my life, but that was
Broadway did it to you.
Dude. But did you see like the videos of Broadway Street and the purple everywhere?
I did.
It was unlike we took that city over. Yeah. Like and
I remember when we played the Chargers a couple years ago in primetime, like at the new SoFi Stadium, and it was a Vikings home game.
Yeah.
Like it was insane. Like it is honestly crazy how well we travel for a tortured franchise that we are, but that's just how much we want it, It's just like it builds better character and I think deeper fandom.
Yeah, if we want them to show up, we got to show up, right? I mean, are you excited to play?
Fans do add value to the game.
Hey,
big time.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, when you hear cheering on the road, that's got to rock.
You hear that, you matter, everyone.
And it just like crowd noise factors into
especially in the defense, like how
stadium
loud,
pulse.
So like obviously US Bank gets very loud. Like it's known as a very very advantageous place for the Vikings. How loud is it actually down on the field?
There's a reason why I'm in the huddle like this trying to because it does get very loud, especially second half or third down, the money down. It erupts, you know, and that's why it's become, a player and a coach's favorite place to play, whether, you're the home team or not.
Right.
US Bank Stadium, the environment is, second to none.
Yeah.
Is it cool being the dude with the green dot?
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
like it?
I mean, it comes with a lot of responsibility, and, I truthfully say, like, I'm honored and privileged that the team sees me as that guy right now, and it definitely, though, you got to give credit to my teammates because it makes my job a lot easier when you're playing with guys that understand, schematically what we're trying to get done, and guys that communicate well. I mean, right behind me is Harrison Smith, who's been doing it for a long time.
Yeah,
he sees things.
Hall of Famer.
He'll make coverage checks and communicates those well. And, now we have some monsters on the D line, but I would say like Harrison Phillips, who's been here now, 3
Love
years?
Harrison Phillips. Yeah.
3, 4?
Three.
I think
Three?
years, yeah.
Going on his 4th. He is without question the smartest defensive line.
Yeah.
Defensive lineman I've ever been around.
I've
He
heard he's
understands
just
what's going on.
So underrated.
Back end,
so
where,
underrated.
Like, most of the times, D linemen, like, all they want to know is where they need to line up, and if they're running any kind of stunt or game, then their ears close.
Yeah, he's. He is just so solid to have in there. He's the beef in the middle. Like it's just the fact that you even say like he's got between the ears. He's just that valuable. Like that just proves it.
I've been told he's just like the best dude too.
Yeah,
he was our Walter Payton, wasn't he? Like
well-liked players on the team. Like
yeah,
obviously big in the community and stuff.
Yeah, I mean he's Walter Payton Man of the Year, team captain, a great vet, and for any young guy that's coming to our locker room, he's a great person to look up to as a role model because he checks every box, the ultimate pro, and we're blessed to have a lot of those guys on our
Right.
team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like going back to Harrison Smith, so something we've talked in great lengths on this show about is how he's able to still do it at his age. We've heard he does this like Russian rope workout where you're suspended by only ropes. We still don't quite understand it. I saw a TikTok of a guy doing it, and I think that was the same thing. Have you seen him do the rope stuff? Do you know what I'm talking?
I haven't seen him do it, but I have seen his.
Shit sounds crazy.
I have seen
Apparatus.
it takes over a third of his basement.
Oh my God! Looks like a sex swing probably down there. Just hanging from every part of the room, and
it does look like something off 50 Shades of Grey.
It does.
But he swears by it, and as you get older, I mean, he's naturally like a gifted athlete, naturally strong. But now that he's older, he's got 2 kids, so he has that dad strength. Like, it's just what's important for him is just to stay moving and have good mobility, flexibility.
Golf will do that
Just to
to you
keep
too.
those joints lubricated a little bit.
Yeah. Throw some
Explains
oil.
why he's such a good golfer. He's flexible. He's got to be able to. That doesn't go into it a lot.
Sport requires a lot of athleticism.
It involves athleticism, but
Yeah.
it does. Athletes.
Yeah. Are you a golfer? You ever play?
I do golf.
You do?
My game is not anything impressive.
Sure.
I'm a sorry golfer, but I do enjoy getting out there.
You're probably great for a scramble team. At least, like you're gonna crush one like every 4
I'll crush
drives.
it, but
like
it'll be 2 fairways over. That's
but like you'll get one where it's just perfect. Like and it'll just
Aim
be like,
40 yards left. You're good.
Once I control my slice off the tee box,
Yeah.
watch out.
Okay.
Yeah. 'Cause Did you play baseball growing up?
Till like 7th grade.
Okay.
Last year playing.
Yeah.
So you were basketball was your other sport, yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
But so sorry, back to B-Flow. He obviously calls plays down on the field, down on the sideline. Now, not all coordinators do that. Are you a coordinator calling plays down on the field guy, or do you not care if like some of them prefer the booth? I mean, I have my opinions on some, and maybe it's a correlation of success or not. But as like a player, obviously he's you're hearing him all the time calling the plays, and then obviously when you're off the field, I'm sure he's able to actually communicate with you in person, like right there.
Yeah, I guess I don't have a strong opinion on it, but I do like that he's on the field.
Yeah.
I've honestly never had a defensive coordinator that hasn't been on the field.
Okay.
But Flo, just by nature, he's a guy. He likes to be.
He's got to be down with the
He
players.
wants to smoke.
100%.
And he really enjoys like we talked about, the camaraderie on the sideline. He wants to see guys celebrating.
Oh, he's celebrating with the players when they're coming off the field. Like
Absolutely.
100%. You can't do that in the booth.
No, you
No.
can't.
You just say like, yeah, good job. Like, there's only so much you could do up there. Like,
Have a button bar
it's-
that goes to Blake's helmet.
Yeah.
Like,
Celebrate for me.
air horn. It's like that means you did good.
yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine it is kind of weird having your coordinator in a booth.
Like I get like older, like
It's
Vic,
more
Vic
offensive
Fangio.
guys,
yeah.
Yeah, like Vic Fangio nowadays, but he's he's up there in age, and like obviously he's one of the the best coordinators of his time, and like one of the best defensive minds of his time. But like I don't think he always was down up in the booth. Like he was on the field. Like it just makes sense because Flores is still he's still a spry guy. Like he wants to mix it up with the players. I imagine.
Dude, if I was and this is the stupid shit that like fans think about that you probably never thought about, but like if I was a player and my coordinator was up in the booth for like a freezing cold game, I would feel like a soldier from World War II in the Battle of the Bulge, while my general is in a warm cabin,
Telling you to get in
sipping on
there.
coffee, telling me I need to run at the enemy.
Marching.
It just doesn't work from a leadership perspective.
Hang in that foxhole.
I
soldier.
can get behind that.
Yeah.
It sends the right message.
Yeah.
like,
Right.
I'm in this with you guys too.
Hell yeah.
Especially for those tough weather games. You see those coaches who are in the booth just with their Gatorades
Yeah.
and all they're wearing a hoodie and you're out with the heat coats and
Battling the elements.
yeah.
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 So there's obviously now like OTAs have happened, and the
Good,
guys are getting
good stats
guys
coming
are
out
getting
of
back into
OTAs.
it. Great stats coming out of certain players. So there's obviously been a lot of talk.
Stats.
A certain quarterback leading all of the NFL and OTAs and touchdowns.
High
and all
ceiling,
that.
high ceiling,
yeah.
really from OTAs.
We have to occupy ourselves here, Blake, when we're in the off season. We have to keep ourselves busy. So there's been a lot of talk from quote unquote experts that JJ McCarthy, our presumed QB1, lacks arm strength or is just going to be some game manager, because apparently that's all he did at Michigan was just hand off the ball, even though they didn't watch any of the college football playoff where he was having to come up with massive money drives to win those games. How wrong are those people from you just seeing like firsthand?
Well,
Obviously going against them.
I think to wrap up minicamp, they asked JJ that like same question.
Yeah.
I think they phrased it damn near the same way. And he said,
where I got it.
He said,
Adam's just aggregating all the reporters out there.
He said, if you know, you know. And that's because, we understand what he's capable of doing. He plays with a high level of confidence with himself. He knows what he's about. And our team is fully behind him and trusts that he can be the guy to go, win these games. I mean, there's a reason why there's not some other veteran quarterback with us right now, because the organization believes in JJ. And obviously he missed a lot of time last year with an injury. So from my perspective, we didn't really get to see him perform. But when he has shown up in practice and in preseason games, the kid's a baller. He's a winner. And, that's what's important.
Did you see the hole he put in the wall next to KOC's office from his scooter?
No, I did
You
not
didn't
see that. No.
Okay.
It was right after he had surgery and he had to have actually a scooter and like it literally
They must have patched that fast because
to.
that was a pretty good size hole he put.
Some plaster up there.
They work fast around there.
TCO, they never stop.
Best braided facilities in the league for a reason.
It's incredible.
Just in case someone ever punches a hole through the wall because they took too much pre-workout, they're fired up on testosterone. Yep, patch it up.
Yeah.
Just like Amish people building a barn.
Yeah, dude.
Burn it down. Nope, it's back up in
Back
2 days. It's like them with TCO.
Yeah, I have become like dangerously optimistic about JJ McCarthy. Like I am so ready to be devastated if it somehow doesn't work out. Like I'm so confident. Like as long as, Kevin O'Connell's calling the plays and he's got guys like Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, Aaron Jones, added Jordan Mason, and the line that we just added, like, I mean,
I'm rock hard.
It's got to be.
Sick.
It's also.
It's gonna be
not
sweet.
to pump your tires even more, but it's got to be nice too to have a good defense for a quarterback too, where he knows
100%.
I can make mistakes, I can turn over the
ball. It's not like
ball.
we're the Bengals out here, we got unbelievable defense.
Yeah,
We do have a very talented roster.
Yeah.
And we have guys at every spot. Like from, the eye test, you could say we check every box. So, we made a lot of noise last year, so there is a target on our back, but everybody in our building, the locker room, believes, we will have another great year and, hopefully make,
Quite a run.
nice long playoff
Yeah.
run.
Hell yeah.
play a little deep into.
I don't like
Maybe-
to. I don't like to speak about it too because I don't want to jinx anything.
No,
No,
but-
we're the same way.
Yeah.
Just
I think people should be optimistic, and I living in Minnesota all my life. It's and now playing for the Vikings. I played for the Gophers. Like Minnesota fans, I think just expect disappointment.
Wonder why.
And, no, I totally I get it, but
This team
right
has
now,
had none of that.
Right
before.
now, I think Minnesota sports, all sports collectively are in a really good spot, and it's just a matter of getting over a tiny little hump.
100%. I mean, and also yes, obviously you have to build the structure and have the right pieces and the coaches and all that kind of stuff. But it does have to be said that there is, some form of luck and breaks that go every champion winning team's way in some capacity. And you have to make those breaks, and there are injuries that could happen and don't happen, and you put the best team on the field and that's all you can do and play the best you can be. And I don't know. I feel like we've done such a great job of building a team, and it feels, there's a reason to be optimistic. Like you said, there's 100% reason to be optimistic.
I mean, I agree. I mean, for any sports league, any team, there's always going to be a lot of variables at play, things that have to go well. And some of those things that have to go well are things that nobody can control.
Yeah.
Just going back to the season, was there a favorite sack you had that you remembered? Or a hit on a player that was big? I mean, you guys made a lot of big plays.
Yeah, I mean, the sack I had with Van Ginkel against Green Bay at home, that was a fun one.
Yeah.
I would say, though, it wasn't a sack, but I, dove. I was jumping off a diving board and, batted the ball right as Aaron Rodgers threw it.
Yeah.
And there's a I'll have to send it to you.
There's a picture of that one on Google because when I was making the thumbnail for this, I'm like, holy shit, I forgot he just bitch slapped the ball out of Aaron Rodgers' hands.
It just looked, it's funny because it just looks almost obnoxious how high and far I was trying to jump.
Yeah.
But Aaron and I, we had a little thing going the rest of the game because of that. And after the game, because he shoved me after the play.
Yeah.
He was like, are you kidding me? And then after the game, when, we're, just chopping it up as players, he, walked by me again and pushed me and pointed.
Yeah. And you're like, oh,
SOB.
all right, yeah. That it's I hate to say it, but as someone that grew up as a Packer fan, that's probably was.
Well, that's why it was cool.
Right. You're like, holy shit. That's you playing with some of these older guys in the league, I have to imagine, you watch them growing up, like Aaron Rodgers, that was obviously an interaction. There are other interactions that you had that you're just if you would have told your 10-year-old self, been wow, that's kind of wild. You take a step back and obviously it's your job and this is what you do for a living. So it's a little different in the moment, but.
I mean, I can't say there's been too many, but I remember being a rookie, it was really cool. When I was in the building with the Jets and Le'Veon Bell came in because he obviously took a year off, but before that he was the guy.
Sure.
And I remember just playing with him on Madden.
Yeah.
And he was just lethal. So that was just cool. Man, I grew up playing this guy on Madden, and now I'm his teammate. It's just kind of a cool, surreal moment.
Yeah.
Shit, you guys probably lived in New York at the same time too, huh?
New York?
Yeah, I moved out there 2018, and I moved back when COVID hit. So,
Smart.
Yeah. So it was one of those things. I worked for an event company actually, so it was good luck with that. And during COVID, so I was why am I just going to hang out here? And I actually, tore my Achilles in playing flag football. I'm an athlete, so it just happened.
Only reason you're in Blake's.
The only reason it's the only reason I hung
didn't
up
completely
the
align.
Yeah, but
Injuries are part of the game.
yeah, I
no matter at what level.
I
you're
made
playing
it through
at.
contact football with the worst is sprained ankle or maybe a broken pinky, and then literally when I'm playing flag football, it's just
Dude,
boom,
finger
Achilles
injuries
pops.
suck.
Yeah.
I used to jam and sprain fingers all the time because I played basketball. I was sick. I got cut my sophomore year, but used to just catch a pass and pop, and it just pops in, and the whole thing is bruised.
Look at my fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've broken every single one of my fingers.
Every one of them?
Look at my middle finger.
Oh,
They're
wow.
fucking
Break every single finger.
Football in
a
third
masochist.
grade, dude.
Athlete.
I
You
slammed
not know how
this
to
one
catch
in
a
the door.
football?
Oh, dude, I was so bad. So bad at football.
jamming your
Hockey,
fingers at
much
the
better.
ball? Soft hands. What are
every
you doing?
finger's impressive.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, how was it playing in London?
That was that my second time playing in London?
I suppose you played.
Yeah,
Well, the
I played
Jets.
the
Yeah,
Jets.
I feel like the Jets usually have a game out
Yeah,
there.
that was my second time playing in London. It's cool. Especially your first time,
Yeah.
you go play football.
Is that your first
internationally.
time over there?
With the Vikings, it was my second time.
I mean, saying, but when you first played out there, that was your first time in Europe or in London?
Yeah, it was my first time.
Yeah.
It's a really cool experience.
Yeah.
It just kind of sucks not being able to, enjoy yourself over there. But again, it's
All
in
business.
season, it's a business trip, so I get it. But I think this year, playing 2 games back to back, you get a little bit more time to actually enjoy yourself over there or explore. So I'm really excited about it.
We'll be at the Dublin game. So,
You guys are going?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. So if you want to meet up at a pub, we'll
Kidding.
drink some
After the game.
drink some piss warm Guinness and maybe just say some profane things that you can get away with over
Just
there.
split the G, everyone. You know?
Yeah.
Just try to do it.
They call it. I don't know if you guys know this. I have a friend from Dublin. They call having fun crack. Like, I'm here for the crack.
Nice.
But don't spell with a C because they have a worse drug problem than we do apparently.
Yeah.
So call it. Make sure you spell with a K.
Crack,
Yeah, you go there for the crack.
Well, they had to
which-
replace the potatoes with something.
right, right. Yeah, it feels wrong saying it, but yeah, we'll be there. It should be a good one. Speaking of business trip, really trying to get a sponsor to pay for that. So if you're listening out there and you want to sponsor the trip, we'd really appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I'm sure. That'd be great. So, in kind of back to just as like a fan, we obviously see, a whole lot of like how good players are, but you have a completely different perspective, and Justin Jefferson is obviously statistically doing things that no one has done. How, like, you go against him every single day, like, what is that actually, like, from your perspective, or actually, like, on the field, going against, like, is there anything that you can give us that is actually, like, what you see is actually not quite even the full picture?
Well, he's obviously just naturally gifted,
Yeah.
and that can take people very far. But what separates him, I think, from other greats in the league, I guess I can't really speak because I don't necessarily know every great receiver that's currently in the league, and I don't get to see how they work. But he's very detailed in his work, and I think that's why he's such a great route runner, because there's so much that's involved in running a clean route based off, your release, the quarterback's drop back, how many steps, like, will you stem the route, and, at the break point, like, how clean are your feet? Like, he just is great at every aspect of route running, very detailed.
I saw a video of him hammering some kids for running dig routes.
Yeah,
And he's like, can't do dig routes in the NFL. It's
It was like corner digs. Or post digs, yeah. Yeah, he was saying, like, you don't run those in the NFL.
Yeah.
Just, like, break that habit now.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, you got a youth football camp coming up. I do. Figure we got to plug that. What's going on with that?
So it's 3 camps, one in Rochester, one in Eden Prairie, and one in St. Cloud. I partner with FlexWorks, so they're, like, handling all the planning for that, the organization part of, getting the staff there and setting up the drills. But I love youth camps. It's a great way to give back. It's fun for the kids, fun for me, and it's easy. You're just hanging out with the youth and playing games.
I assume you grew up going to the Mike Grant football camp?
Oh, yeah.
In Prairie? Hell yeah.
Every camp through Eden Prairie growing up, like,
Great program.
I was at every one of them.
I was back-to-back long snap champion. I got that going for me. There maybe I guess by calling. But
I actually won long snap champion one year.
Let's go. Nice.
I think I was in 8th grade. when I did
Athlete.
that.
Yeah.
Dude, let's
You should have,
Andrew DePaul's got a long career. Like, fuck.
we got to do a head-to-head. See
Yeah.
if you two still got it. I mean,
Well, he was working at Best Buy when he, like, got the call.
shit.
Yeah.
I worked at Best Buy.
Was?
Oh,
Oh my God. It's almost like that kicker out of Detroit.
My God.
Who was a brick salesman.
Yeah, see, him
Fuck that guy.
Yeah, I was,
him
I
massaging
agree.
his hip, it still rubs me the wrong way. It was like way too intimate that we saw on TV. They showed it like he was like on the sideline massaging like with a some sort of exercise ball right on his hip pointer, and he had some weird look on his face. It didn't sit.
Dude,
well with me.
as a beer league goalie, hip problems are real.
Well, yeah.
You don't want to mess with that. So he was probably feeling some sense of relief from the everyday pain that hip pain
I guess
is.
it was just too much relief. It was too much
A
relief.
little too much relief on the
For
sideline.
national
But
television, too much.
I didn't know that he was working at Best Buy, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I think I could be wrong, but specialists, they kind of have a 4-year window.
Yeah.
So, like, there's very limited spots. You only keep one kicker, one punter, one long snapper. And, there could be guys that are currently playing the league that are, vets, good at what they do, and they're not going anywhere. So you kind of just have to start working, but also stay ready.
Yeah.
He was on the Pro Bowl team.
I think he's like a
couple times.
Yeah,
he's like a multi-time Pro Bowler now. Yeah, he's unbelievable. Love it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I'm never worried about a snap. It's great. So we did mention, various stadiums and US Bank obviously is one that is very well known for not just being a great venue to watch football, but to play. I mean, facility wise, it's very, very great.
Tailgating could be better. I have to throw that in there.
Outside of US Bank Stadium, what has been like one of your favorite places to play that you've been able to, or any favorites like stick out?
I really like SoFi Stadium. I think it's really clean.
Yeah.
Slick. It's cool. It's cool.
Sure.
Hate to bring back up
Lambeau.
Green Bay, but Lambeau just with the
I knew that.
history.
I mean,
And
Adam
that's
Thielen
for
even
everybody,
said that.
though.
Yeah.
One place I haven't played yet, the one opportunity I would have had, I missed the game with an injury, but I heard Kansas City's a really fun,
Arrowhead.
hostile place.
I want to go to a game at Arrowhead.
Yeah.
Just
Me
like
too.
I remember, when they were playing the Dolphins in the playoffs, not last
2
year, but the year
years ago.
before, tickets were dirt cheap because it was so cold.
Mm-hmm.
And I literally looked up. I was like, how far of a drive is it? I was like, oh, it's like, not terrible of a drive. I get tickets for under $50 or whatever. I'm like, for a playoff game, that's
20
something.
24 people had to get amputated after that game, by the way.
Yeah, well,
Fingers,
Actually,
feet, something 20 some. There were a lot in the hospital.
poor preparation.
They also probably weren't wearing
preparation.
gloves and were hammered. So I mean,
Gotta prepare better. But Arrowhead would be sweet. I've heard awesome things about Arrowhead, obviously, too. But okay.
yeah. What about what's the one in Vegas? Allegiant?
Yeah.
yeah, that place is cool.
Yeah.
It's cool. But I don't know. When I played there, I thought the field surface wasn't
great.
Wasn't very good.
Yeah.
Are you a turf over grass? Are you a grass over turf 100%? Are you? Because obviously
Hey, I'm almost considered elderly,
Well, 'cause,
as a player. So
because
I
TCF
definitely
that's turf, and Eden Prairie was turf, and US Bank obviously turf. We don't have a whole lot of grass.
you can move faster on turf,
Yeah.
but when I remember I got to the league, guys would complain about either practicing or playing on turf.
Sure.
And I never really got it, but I would say about 2 years ago, especially last year, you start feeling it more,
Sure.
low back, your
Yeah.
hips, knees.
Just because there's no give.
Yeah, it's not as much
You
give.
just really stick into it, and then obviously that's a lot of force being stressed on.
I've heard the
Various
I've heard the
ligaments and all
black pellets are a pain in the ass too. People find it get them in your shoes and stuff all the time. Is that
yeah, you'll have them places where you didn't think
Yeah.
they could be.
I remember that in high school, so we were able to play the state, the semifinal and championship games at the Metrodome because it was before it happened, and then obviously I think it would have been
My senior
your
year,
senior
so-
year. You're at TCF or
Only
you
for the state championship game.
Okay.
So we had to play at neutral sites.
okay. So you were at but so I remember the Metrodome turf specifically. As soon as your gloves touched the turf, they became ice. They were so slick. You had to spit on them to get them sticky again. It was weird. I don't know.
Octua. Yeah,
Yeah, I
dude,
don't know what
it's
the
like the-
material was. It was some weird coating they had, but
Yeah, it just kind of makes it chalky.
yeah, it was super chalky. I don't know if US Bank is still like that, but I distinctly remember that about the Metrodome turf. But
that's just on brand though with the Metrodome.
Yeah.
Let's not even make the grass nice. This is the whole experience
that was
for
part of the
for
the
everybody,
atmosphere,
part of the
you
lore.
know? Yeah, the troughs.
Yeah.
you know.
Oh God, the troughs.
Troughs.
Oh, that's where I saw my first adult penis. was the troughs. Quite a sight, real.
Not your only one. you
Real
saw.
scary stuff in the troughs as a child
Yeah.
going to Vikings games.
Are you guys scared to take a piss in the trough?
No.
As a kid?
No, I
Not
was
really.
I was always shy. To
I
do
was,
that.
Yeah.
I wasn't
It's
the
like
kid.
stage
I
fright.
was never
Oh,
the
yeah.
kid. You always so I remember when I went to Eden Lake for elementary school. I was on that side of Eden Prairie, and my 4th grade year they added kindergarten, And so, like, I remember like walking to a bathroom once, and there was just a kindergartner there, and his pants are around his ankles, and I'm like, okay, I'm like not used to that. And I was never one of those kids, but yeah, you definitely saw some things at the troughs.
The pants around the ankles,
That's tough.
That's usually a tough one.
I'd like to know the numbers on, or what those people turned out.
Yeah,
like,
I
Well,
wonder
there's
what
adults
those
who
kids are
still do
now.
it, so I would imagine there's a correlation
Where are those
there.
kids now?
What are they
Are they
doing?
doing all right? I don't know. Are they in the NFL? Maybe.
I was more scared of like blowing away on the way out.
That was the best
my
part.
grandpa would have to hold like
It was
my
the
he
best
would have to
part about
hold
leaving.
my neck and my feet would fly under me because I
Is he
was so
strangling
tiny.
you when you're
pretty
walking?
much,
You're
dude.
just-
If he didn't, then I would go flying.
It was strong.
yeah,
It was great.
Take
good
you off
time.
your feet.
yeah.
Fantastic.
My one of my best friends, who's a Packer fan, went to the last game played at the Metrodome, which was against the Packers, I believe, and or at least the last one he went to. And he said he was sitting in the nosebleeds, and two guys got in a fight who were both Vikings fans and tumbled down the entire aisleway, all the way till the.
Probably a hospital visit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
until the barrier.
You see videos all the time of like fans fighting, and I'm like, I don't know how it ever gets to that point. Or
Especially when it's their own team.
yeah,
That's even funnier.
That's the crazy
Oilers
thing.
fans during the Cup Finals. I don't know how many of those videos you guys saw. They were fighting each other the entire playoffs.
Yeah.
Just Oilers fans beating the shit out of each other.
Or where it's just like people
much
just
beer.
like passed
Yeah.
out, puking over themselves.
Oh,
just like
yeah.
I'm like, oh god. There's
Saw
one
a lot
like
of that at the Metrodome.
Yep. There definitely was a lot of that. I distinctly remember like a viral like Bengals fan that was just like passed out, just
Yep.
full on puking over themselves.
Yeah.
And it was
On a Sunday at like noon.
I'm like, how do
it's
you do
amazing
this?
how NFL fans get as
well, it's
wasted
all the
as they
Skyline
do.
chili probably for them,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I don't know. Have you ever had Skyline chili? Okay. No. I know we played the Bengals this year. It's at home though, so
Okay.
I don't know. Might have to have Skyline chili in studio before.
Yeah.
Got to give a review for that week.
And then just purposely give it a shitty score.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Fuck these guys. Did you have any other questions? I wanted to get into the blind rankings redo. This is
No, I'm
what
good
I've
with
been,
the blind rankings. Yeah,
Yeah,
let's do it.
This is what I've been. All right, you ready? This
I'm
time?
ready.
Okay.
Go redemption.
For those
I
who
feel
don't
like you guys are gonna purposely
redemption.
You're damn
screw
right.
me over, but here
well,
we go.
I'm a different official
that in
this time.
mind.
You're
Just
getting
keep
it.
that in mind.
You're getting a different referee. Jake
Yeah.
or Zane was really devious. I think he probably plugged that one in ChatGPT. But for those who don't know, these are cities in Minnesota 1 through 5. Blake here has to rank them, not knowing what's coming next. So number 1, Minnetonka.
2.
Okay. By the way, he got sewered last time we did this.
Yeah.
That's why we're laughing here.
Hey, he did put Eden Prairie 1.
He did.
Yeah, he put
yep.
Eden Prairie 1, which-
Duluth 5 was, I think, the
Tough.
tough one, but
Yeah.
yeah, he's reflected since then. Number 2, Grand Rapids.
4.
Good hockey program there.
I don't hate that though. I don't hate
no,
that.
that's not bad. You can see the numbers.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You can see the options.
Yeah,
Okay.
I see him.
Number 3, Mankato.
3.
3. All right. Number 4, Thief River Falls, otherwise known as Thief River Falls, for those who
5.
inside joke. So that leaves your number 1 as Maple Grove.
I think
I was hoping you guys were gonna throw Duluth back in there.
oh, that would have been great. I think he killed that ranking.
I think you did pretty
I think
good.
he-
I'm really.
I don't know if I'd change anything about that ranking.
See, I was gonna throw a really small town last, but then I thought you were gonna reverse logic me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
So
think-
now
So-
we're playing mind games.
I
with each
yeah.
other.
I think
know,
that's a-
I know,
I
that
think it's
was-
a very solid.
That was
ranking.
some gamesmanship. All right, you're 1 for 1.
Yeah.
Next time we'll have Jake do it or something. But yeah, Blake, thank you so much, man, for coming back in. It was honestly, it was a treat watching you guys this year, and we're very confident that this might be the year.
Skull Vikes, baby.
Yeah, thanks. man.
Parade that Super Bowl trophy.
Seriously.
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
Absolutely. Bring it
God, we
bring
need
it
it.
all the way here in St. Paul.
Had one
Just
since
run it,
91 in
Yeah.
the major sports. My
run it
gosh.
down the entire freeway.
over my entire life.
Yeah. So,
Got to make it happen.
got to do it. Starts now in OTAs.
That's
Right.
JJ McCarthy leading the NFL in OTA touchdowns.
Yeah.
Come on, baby.
Yeah, dude. Oh, good stuff. Thanks, man. Seriously.
Yeah. No.